it's literally changing the entire game.
As a consumer, what are we
Sure.
going to do with this money? Where's it going to go? How is it going to affect people who want to get into the housing market?
Yeah.
And where are you going to build a home? The public want these answers.
Yeah. I think the public just wants transparency, right?
Our goal here is to just bring a lot of value and also keep it fresh. A fresh perspective.
Yep.
Yeah. Number 6.
Welcome back, guys.
What's that stat you said that at the podcast that
7
make it past
episodes.
episode 7?
That
So we
like,
gotta make it back here.
yeah,
too.
that people never
Yes.
make it past episode 7.
make it.
I love the definiteness there.
Our goal is to get a guest on the next one.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
stay tuned, viewers.
okay.
Potentially going to have a guest.
Wow, we're having so many firsts, guys,
Firsts.
together.
Yeah, and then we can interview people.
Right here.
We have a little chair here.
We'll just put them right there.
Yep, spotlight.
Front and center.
Yeah.
Excited.
Oh, that's getting me really excited about a lot of firsts.
Yeah,
What's another first that we want?
that we hit double digits.
Double digits.
Like episodes, so we hit
Podcast,
10.
yeah.
Oh, we get to episode 10.
I mean,
Yeah.
100 is triple digits.
And you know what? Another thing would be cool?
What?
If, like, one of our podcasts, we hosted it, like, on a beachfront somewhere in the world.
Ooh, we can change location.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
You know what? If we hit our team as a goal, I remember Jeff and Christy saying that they would take everybody to Cabo.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It was a
The
joke.
team's growing a lot now.
Okay.
But, you know, if we do
I
go
feel
on
like
like
it
a
is a
team
visit,
retreat
yeah, yeah.
somewhere, or we can do a podcast at the team retreat this year.
Are we having a team retreat this year?
Maybe. I think we should. Yeah.
I think
last
those
year,
team
last year was
retreats.
so much
I don't know
fun.
if that was the first one.
I
last
will be
year.
super pregnant if we do it at the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time.
You're
Yeah.
1 week further along
Yeah. Well,
from last week.
in September, because we had the retreat last year in September.
I think, yeah.
I'm due
at least
on my
September.
birthday on October 4th.
Oh, wow.
So if we do it end of September, I'll be like a whale.
Yeah.
So
We'll have a podcast guest on the show.
get my good angle.
Your
on
baby.
it.
We'll be like, our first guest, Ian.
Young real estate agent.
There's crowning happening.
Real estate
Stop.
agent.
So yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, we can change the scenery.
Oh, that's gonna be so cute. Can we like put the mic to your stomach and see if we hear anything?
He's kicking, but very like light.
Okay,
flares.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Yeah.
fun. Well, yeah, this is exciting. So we're on episode 6. We're almost past that 7 episode threshold. And our goal here is to just bring a lot of value and also keep it fresh.
Yeah.
There's so many real estate podcasts out there, and we want to bring a
Yeah.
fresh perspective, not only to the way that we do the business, how we sell, how we help our clients, but also the way we educate. So lots going on in the market. One thing that's
Yes.
always happening, whether it's down or up, there's always a shift occurring in the market. So right now, do we feel like there's a shift happening, and in what direction is that going?
I feel like it's in this like realm of wonder. That's what I want to call it. It's
Yeah.
a realm of wonder. What is going to happen?
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's just what my opinion.
The realm of wonder. I wonder
Yeah, I wonder
where we are going right
what's
now.
going to happen next month? What's
Yeah.
going to happen
Yeah.
with the July interest rate? Right? What's going to happen in the fall? It's
Mhm.
all a bunch of wonder. Nobody can time the market.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why I love chatting with you so much, Ian, is because you always bring so many stats and the facts into what's happening. You do. There's this place of wonder, but within the wonder, there's the historical data.
Yeah.
There's we might be down right now, but what's happened over the last 10 years? What's going to happen in the next 10 years? Let's look at what happened in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love how you're laughing because you didn't know where I was going to go with this. Because I always throw a curveball. Like, you're one of the reasons why I love you so much, Ian, and I can literally finish that with anything.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of every now and then you grace the podcast with a giggle
Yeah.
of all giggles.
Giggle is great.
There we got it. No, but one of the indicators that I've been looking at recently is
Yeah.
months of inventory.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Yep.
So do you guys know what months of inventory
I
is?
do, but let's
the viewers?
educate the buyers. What is
Yeah.
it and how is it like calculated?
So why it's one of the best indicators to look at in terms of whether we're in a seller's market, buyer's market, or balanced, it's basically takes all the current inventory that we have today. Let's say in the whole of GTA, if you were to take all of the inventory and not list anything brand new, how long would it take for all of that inventory to get absorbed?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does.
So basically, if you take all the listings on the market today, how long would it take for all of them to sell?
Okay.
So right now in the GTA, there's 2.5 months worth of
And is that the
inventory.
entire GTA, like Oshawa to?
So that's within the 75 to 80 kilometer
Kilometer
radius
radius, okay,
around
so
the
it's
GTA.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So then, do we have any specifics on certain areas? Because that is what I would assume is a balanced market, right? 2.5 or?
So almost. So
Okay.
what's happening is, so I'll just get into the numbers here. 0 to 3 months, the seller has the advantage.
Okay.
So you're in a seller's market.
Okay.
And the reason why the seller has the advantage, you guys can elaborate on that, is because there is not enough inventory, basically. So buyers are out there trying to get a deal, trying to get a home, but because there's not enough inventory there, it's obviously a seller's market. So if you go to 3.5 to 5.5 months worth of inventory, that's when you start going into the balanced market and you have a good amount of people looking and then also a good amount of supply. And then anything above 5.5 months, you're in a buyer's market.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think that 2.5 months stat is relevant to every single location,
For sure.
right? You have to narrow down on some micro markets.
Love that.
And like what is it in Milton? What is it in Mississauga? What is it in Oakville?
Yeah.
And per type of property,
Mhm.
right? Just because in let's just say Oakville, it's 3 months of inventory. Is that for everything? Because condos are moving slower than the detached market
Yeah.
under 2 million.
Yeah.
Right.
So what makes a macro market and a micro market? What's the difference between the two markets? So on the macro, we're saying the entire GTA, 75 to let's say 80 kilometer radius. What's a micro?
I'd say micro market is a specific pocket in a specific city. So if we're talking Mississauga, we're talking Meadowvale, Lisgar,
Yeah.
Churchill Meadows, I would classify those as micro markets.
Yeah.
And why is it important to look deeper at that, under that 5 kilometer radius?
Well, if you're a buyer and you're looking to buy in that specific area, that stat might be different than, like in my area in Oakville. If you're looking in Mississauga and Meadowvale, that's different than looking in Glen Abbey in Oakville,
Yeah.
right? So you have to educate yourself on each individual market and where you want to move.
Mm-hmm.
I think comparable properties will also be a lot more accurate if you're looking at micro markets, whereas
Yeah.
if you're looking at for example what I just brought up, like Meadowvale,
Yeah.
if you're comparing it to Churchill Meadows, Churchill Meadows is a lot more newer homes, whereas Meadowvale is a lot more older homes. So it's
Yeah.
important to know what you're comparing against each other.
Absolutely. So I wanted to bring up micro markets. So in the GTA, we know there's 2.5 months of inventory on the market today. If nothing was to be listed, that's how long it would take. Isn't that crazy?
That's not much
That's
time.
that's not that many homes,
No,
to
it's
be
not.
honest.
Is that's everything? Condos?
That's in the GTA,
Okay.
condos and everything.
Mhm.
So going into the micro, I don't want to pull up too many stats here, but I like pulling up a little bit of stats here and there. So I pulled up a couple cities in Peel specifically.
Okay.
Brampton, right now, the average price of a home in Brampton is $1 million. That's across condos, townhouses, freehold, everything. And the months of inventory is actually 2.61
Okay.
compared to the 2.54 in the GTA. Okay?
So, yeah.
So here I want to go a little bit more micro with this. Comparing that 2.5 months of inventory that Brampton has today, 2.61 actually, compared to February. In February, it was at 1.
Wow.
Inventory was being absorbed in 1.5 months.
It was a busier market in
Yeah.
January and
Jan, February
February
was
for some
crazy.
reason, and then
Isn't that
kind of
nuts?
slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see what the summer brings.
So with that inventory being absorbed in 1.5 months in February, what were we seeing? We saw this with Christie's listing in Brampton.
Yeah.
Oh, that
What were sellers doing? Because there was, in that little pocket, what was happening?
We're talking about the recent one, a month ago?
Yeah,
Yeah, she priced it super low. I think it was a semi at $599.
Yeah.
And she sold for $782. She
exactly.
got 18 offers, and that was preemptive. So I think she held the offer day. It was supposed to be on a Thursday, and she ended up getting 18 the previous day.
Yeah. So now with the inventory going up to 2.5 months to 2 months, 2.6, it's literally changing the entire game with what sellers have to do
Yeah.
and what does it mean as a buyer. So there's lots of opportunity for us as with our buyer clients to actually go in and get these great deals, but also with conditions as well.
Yeah.
So
Because a lot of places are. I think I said this on the last pod or whatever. You can be in multiple offers and still sell or still get your offer accepted with a condition as well. right? You can still get your home inspection. You can still get your financing. Maybe on not like 18 offers on a semi. You're probably gonna have a firm offer. Those are still happening, but you have a lot more power as a buyer right now. Still, it's been a few months, and you still have lots of power as a buyer.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch recently where they've had 5, 6, 7 offers, and it's still selling conditional. They're still doing well on the purchase price, but the buyer's still getting either A, their financing, their inspection condition, or both.
Yeah.
Status if it's a condo.
Yeah. I'm like, where should we take this? So basically, what I'm seeing right now is slowly we're starting to enter into this balanced market.
Yeah.
We're not fully there yet.
For me, it kind of feels like a balanced market.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, I hone in on Oakville and Burlington, but again, it depends on the type of property, the price, and the location.
Exactly.
There's
I think
those three
you have
things.
to take all three of those in, and I feel like for different types of properties, different price points, I feel like, for example, like in the condo market, it's more of a buyer's market versus, in the freehold, like subpar $1 million, it's more of a seller's market.
Correct.
It's weird what kind of happened over the last year and a half, 2 years, because we're traditionally used to seeing a seller's market, balanced market, buyer's market. And what happened was it was such a strong seller's market, and you would think that when the shift happened that it was going to switch into a balanced or a buyer's, but it almost shifted into a nothing market. It was like dust clouds going through. I don't know if there should be a fourth type of market out there, but this last season that we just went through,
it's the wonder market.
I wonder what the heck's going to happen market. Everybody was on the sideline. There was no one buying, selling, or just getting a good deal or not.
In March, there was like the lowest number of sales in like the last 10 years or something. Like that happened as well. So people are just taking their time. They're being smart this time around.
So it's funny because even though we're entering this balanced market, it almost feels like we're entering a buyer's market. We're like, wow.
It'd be kind of cool to enter a buyer's market. I've been in real estate for going into my 7th year, and it's mostly been a seller's market.
Yeah.
Kind of balanced.
I feel like the fall was a pretty good buyer's market in my opinion. Fall was a great buyer's
with the
market.
Conditions and everything. People were putting
whatever you wanted. You could do whatever. You could put in that condition about your dad doing the home or whatever, or your uncle in the fall.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have gone.
Oh my gosh.
Which is a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I feel like we're leading into a seller's market later on this year.
Oh, you think
That's
so?
my opinion.
I think we're going to be flipping back.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So one of the greatest things about this months of inventory indicator is that it paints a story about where the market is going and also what's going to be happening to the values of the homes. So when we're in a state where there's only 2.5 months of inventory or less, sellers can truly dictate the price of their home. But the moment the inventory starts to go up to, let's say, 3.5 months, 4 months, to stay competitive, sellers have to either drop their price or they're going to be sitting on the market forever.
Yeah.
Or they have to be that listing that outshines every other listing on the market, and they stay priced at wherever they want to be priced.
I'm seeing a lot of listings right now, currently, in this last couple weeks, that have been sitting on the market. Like buyers are just the buyer confidence. Mostly detached. So I feel like buyer confidence is not there. There's a lack of like a sense of urgency. There's a lack of urgency right now with buyers because they know they can have a pick of the litter, even though the litter isn't that big right now. So how are you guys dealing with the lack of urgency with your buyer clients and even the seller clients who are like, I don't want to list right now, maybe I'll list in a few months. What is your strategy there to help people move along to making that purchase or sell?
For me, it's more so education. Like I never want to be someone pushy, but again, like I'll always educate them on what's to come. The buyers that I'm working with right now are aware that there are rate announcements in June or July, and a potential announcement in favor that their decreasing rates could push the market. So they're fully aware of all the risks if they wait. But it's more so just coming from a standpoint of education and telling them everything they need to know.
Yeah.
There's always the one-off property that's getting multiple offers.
Yes,
firm.
of course. Yeah.
It's scaring a lot of people out there, even investors. Oh my gosh, I don't want to get back into this frenzy. But right now, my strategy with an investor client would be, let's test the market. Let's throw as many offers as we possibly can. It doesn't mean you're buying the home. Put the conditions in and test the market. See if you can pick up a great deal right now as a buyer with There's a handful of properties on the market right now that have not been getting any activity, not even any showings. Let's see.
You can
You know,
negotiate on those.
yeah.
Those
Yeah.
that. I always tell my buyers anything over 15 days, you have the power to negotiate.
Yeah.
Because at the I think 21-day mark is when you should be lowering your price as a seller. If nothing has happened by then,
Yeah.
your showings have trickled off. That's when everything starts dying out. You have to cancel or suspend
Yeah.
and then relist at a lower price, right?
I
At
don't
the
know.
21-day mark.
I think that's tough. I would disagree.
Really?
I think it really depends on the listing. But
So
I would
how-
say like
how long
21
would
days
you-
isn't.
How long would you let a listing stay at a certain price?
Again, I think it really depends on the listing. But for context, like I had one in Brampton, which I thought was, we were a little bit over.
But you were priced in like the slowest market.
Yeah,
like
we
you
were.
Sorry, listed in the slowest
But
market.
I think it really, like, you have to look at your competition. You
Yeah.
have to look at the area. There's so many different factors. But like I think, yeah, if you're 21 days in the market, you're not getting any showings, you're not
Yeah.
getting any offers, then yeah, it's likely a result
You gotta
of
make
you
some
being
sort of
overpriced.
change.
But in some situations, I would say that's, it really depends. Like, there's not an exact science to it.
No. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I think 21. That's the sweet spot to have that conversation.
I also feel a lot of people have been waiting to list their properties. I have a handful of listings coming onto the market one day, but we've just been waiting to see
Yeah.
what was, like we always talk about what's the best time to list.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last spot. There's
Yeah.
no, you can't time it.
Okay, so let's talk about
Okay, let's talk about
the people
this.
that you have waiting to list.
Sure.
Why are they waiting to list, and what do they need to do? Like, for example, when they're selling, are they buying? Are they moving out of the country? Let's dive deeper into that.
Yeah, so so one of the sellers, they're going to be downsizing. They're living in a really massive home right now, and we just don't think it's the right time to list that property in the market right now. We just don't think the buyers are there. We don't think that it's going to get the activity that we wanted to get. So we've just been waiting. Is it going to be June or September that's going to yield the most amount of activity on this home? Then there's other situations where people need to sell. There's the 3Ds, whether it's divorce, debt, or death.
Yeah.
So in those situations, sometimes you have to look at the entire situation, and you're almost forcing your hand to list at that point.
Yeah.
But
You never want to sound too salesy either. Like, yes, we are technically salespeople, but I'm not going to say list your house because I want to sign in the lawn, right? I'm going to do what's best for the client,
absolutely,
right? Or you have to do
Yeah.
what's best. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of agents don't do
Yeah, a
that.
lot of agents just want to throw
Yeah.
up a sign on the lawn and then have it there
Yeah.
and then deal with it after.
absolutely. So there's been other situations where I do have listings coming, but it's just not the right time to sell for them. They
Got it.
need to sell, but because they bought at such a high price in 2021, the end of 2021, selling right now would be selling for a loss. So can they
Yes.
stomach holding this property? It's tenanted. Can they stomach it for another year
Mhm.
and list next spring
Yeah.
when the prices hopefully trickle back up as the interest rates go down?
Go down.
And I would love to sell their house right now, and I will get them the most amount of money that I could possibly get them. Market it the right way. We have a really incredible strategy as a team.
Mhm.
We have 20 listings right now on the market. There's so many different types of homes right now that we have.
Yeah.
So I would love to have it as one of those listings, but is it the right time? So I
Yeah.
think that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I kind of want to switch topics right now and talk about news headlines. I know we talked about that at the last podcast,
Yeah.
but there was one news headline that really got me, and it got me thinking about obviously the housing market. So this was from the Toronto Star, and it said Ontario reaches deal on funding for housing after months-long dispute. So what happened is the federal government is now going to be giving the Ontario provincial government $357 million
Wow.
for obviously housing. The federal government at first said it would bypass the province and just give the money directly to the municipalities. Just to pause there, I'm happy that they didn't and they gave it to Ontario, like the Ontario government, so that the Ontario government can decide where they want to go. Because let's say, for example, in Mississauga, there's not that much land in Mississauga left to build, whereas in Milton, there's still quite a bit of land. You can go out to Windsor, you can go to all these places. I mean, not a lot of people want to move out there, but there's still places out there that you can buy, and it would be cheaper to build in certain areas than it would be in the GTA, right?
Yeah.
So they ended up not giving it directly to the municipalities and giving it to the provincial government. What do you think the provincial government will actually do with the funds? It's a very open-ended question.
Well, I think they're likely gonna give it to the municipalities, but they determine what
Yeah,
municipalities it goes
the
to
Ontario government will
versus,
determine. Yeah.
versus the federal government.
Yeah.
It's 357 million. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but in retrospect, it's really not. How do you divide that into different municipalities,
Yeah.
right?
How do you make it fair? Yeah.
How do you make it fair?
Who deserves more?
And then how is the municipality going to be using this money? Are they going to be commissioning a certain builder or developer to actually build something, and who's going to be that developer?
And do you think it's going to be the Ontario government's friends, right? To say
Likely,
that
yeah.
lightly. But also, like, for example, in
Always.
Oakville, north of Dundas now, in Oakville is where all of the new developments are happening because there's literally no land south of Dundas except for on Bronte. But that land is so expensive,
Yeah.
right? And to build in that area is so expensive. But is this money going to be used for affordable housing? Like, where is this money going to go? I would genuinely like to know that.
I feel when headlines like this come out, it seems like there's hope all of a sudden
Yeah.
for the entire market, and we look at something like this. $350 million is being injected right into Ontario, into specific municipalities, but is it truly going to create a difference? And when is this money going to be injected in? Is it going to be in the next 5 years or for the next 20 years?
How long is it going to take to build these properties?
Yeah.
Where are they going to be located?
Yeah.
Who's going to be selling the properties? Because you have to go through the pre-construction phase.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you have to pay the companies, right, to advertise and sell these properties. Like, I don't know. It's a good start, I would like to say. It's a good start. But where is this going to end up?
Yeah.
And how much are these houses going to cost people? I don't know.
And how transparent are they going to be in the entire process of
Exactly.
how the money's going to get divvied up and everything?
And
we were
where it's
just
gonna
talking
go.
about, right?
Yeah.
Headlines, baby, headlines.
Because
We-
everyone says there's not enough housing. We're in a housing shortage. And houses aren't being built as fast as immigration is happening. So, what the hell's gonna happen?
we need to basically find somebody that can run for prime minister. And I vote.
Thank
You vote me?
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I don't think that.
You're gonna cry. You're gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry right now. I get your vote.
Absolutely.
Oh my god! You know what? Thank you. I actually went door knocking the other day, and the guy said you should run for prime minister, and I said, "Holy shit!"
Just open the door and you said that?
Well, we had a little conversation about. It was actually around one of Christie's listings out in Burlington,
Yeah.
and I was just out there meeting the neighbors. We just sold their house, and at the end of the conversation, the three of these people sitting on their patio, they're like, "You should run for prime minister. I would vote for you."
That's sweet.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, how many tweets do I need to delete? How many freaking shirtless photos
If you delete
in
it, it's already
bathtubs?
out there. They'll go back. They'll go back for
Someone's
that.
got it.
It's out there in the ethers.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. There's headlines are a good way to distract people
Yes.
from what's truly happening. I think we need to take our own lives into our own hands in the micro. We were talking about macro and micro before. In the macro sense, hopefully our government is leading us in the right direction. But it's like what Sonny was saying the other day. It was the
I missed that one. I wasn't there.
so he said there's, regardless of what's happening, mad, sad, angry, glad. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm mad right now that there isn't affordable housing.
Yeah.
There's people that can't afford even their basic primal housing need.
Yep, rent.
I'm really sad that there's good people right now that are working really hard. They are doing everything that they can possibly do. They're meeting with the lenders, but it's really sad that they still can't, make ends meet to actually get that place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm going back to angry. I don't think that's the thing, but then you're repositioning, you're doing a defrag, and you go, you know what though, I am glad that right now there's realtors in the industry that are helping people, get into their investment properties, and they're actually helping them renovate their homes where they can, make a basement with a separate entrance for a family that's moving in, and we're creating opportunities and housing opportunities. I'm really glad that I'm in an industry where I can be at the leading edge of actually solving the problem. So there's always a defrag that we have to do. These headlines are always trying to distract us of what's going on, but you got to take ownership of your own life.
Yeah.
You can't wait around for the government to come and save you. You have to save yourself. You have to come to a position where you're like,
it's hard with inflation where it's at, and the cost of groceries and the cost of gas.
yeah.
Like gas went from $1.36 or whatever it was, which was still pretty expensive, to now it's like $1.63. I filled up today and it was $1.63. I'm like, what the heck?
Have you heard of sizeflation?
No.
No.
Okay, so basically, not only inflation, but things are shrinking.
Oh yes.
The cookies,
Yeah.
the freaking Chips Ahoy
Yeah,
cookies
exactly.
are smaller,
Yeah.
and they're just smaller.
Halloween candy is like the size of my finger. Like
Yeah.
little mini Kit Kats now.
Me and my girlfriend, we go around now. Wow, I just announced to the world. Oh my gosh,
Got a girlfriend.
I'm dating somebody. The world knows now. We go around and we have this thing where like, oh, sizeflation got this too, and guess what? The recent thing sizeflation got?
What?
Apple cider vinegar. So you know at the bottom of apple cider vinegar, there's like that gunk at the bottom.
Okay.
It's like they call it the mother. In kombucha, they call it like the.
Like you have to shake it.
You could truly go and make another kombucha yourself if you just take that mother bacterial
Yeah.
piece at the bottom.
Okay.
So apple cider vinegar, the one that we get, usually used to have like a thick layer of this mother
Yeah.
skunk. It's now nothing. There's nothing there. We're like sizeflation got the apple cider vinegar.
Oh my god.
What else are they gonna get? We need to take back.
Well, they've got housing too, because now like the new builds are shoe boxes.
There
Right?
we go.
But,
Yeah. Have you heard of the those container homes
Yes.
that are being built now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's my
I
dream
haven't
to
heard so
build
much
a
about
cottage
them,
on
but-
those. They're
Yeah.
cheap to
Yeah.
buy a container.
Very cheap,
Yeah.
and they're beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can buy like 8 of them and make a beautiful house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually at the Toronto Realtor Quest,
Mhm.
one that Trev hosts
yeah.
every year. So
Yeah.
this year, I think Jay Shetty was there, Martha Stewart was walking around, a couple other people, Doug Ford was there. So he was talking about what he was going to be doing, all the friends he was going to be helping out. This year, I shouldn't say that.
Dougie Ford.
But there was a company that builds these container homes, and with the new laws changing, where people can actually have, let's say, homes behind their residence now
Oh,
in
yeah,
certain
yeah.
communities.
What's that
Like
called?
the alleyway homes or
Yeah,
laneway homes.
laneway homes.
Yeah.
There's certain areas where you can actually place these little trailers or these containers now on your lot. You can start renting those out, extra income.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a really cool concept that they're allowing that now.
but yeah, so things are shrinking. So headlines like this, they always are a good talking point with people.
Mhm.
So we're like, we see, that headline: the average home now is $1.2 million in the GTA.
We'll
But-
see what happens with this money. Is my point.
Yeah.
Is we'll see what happens. Where is it actually going to go?
Mhm.
I personally kind of want to track it. What are they going to do with it?
Yeah,
That's what I really want to know. As a consumer, what are they
Sure.
going to do with this money? Where's it going to go? How is it going to affect people who want to get into the housing market?
yeah.
And where are you going to build the homes?
Mhm.
Like the public want these answers.
Yeah. I think
Right.
the public just wants transparency, right? Like they
Yeah.
want to know exactly detail for detail what's happening.
Yeah. I think there truly needs to be a way where people can start to afford housing.
Yeah. But like we
It's-
said in the last podcast, like do we think Toronto is going to be eventually like the New York or the London, the LA? Like you will eventually have to drive to buy,
yeah.
right? You're not gonna
Yep.
unless you can afford the GTA. Besides Toronto, Oakville and Burlington are your next best.
Yeah.
Or like most expensive. Richmond Hill is getting pretty expensive too up there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to drive till you can buy.
And there's some beautiful areas around here.
Or
Like
you,
when you look at Burlington and
Yeah.
some of the areas that you are too.
or you make sacrifices, right? Like as we were talking about in the previous
Yeah.
episode, like you're not buying a freehold to start, you're buying a condo.
Yeah.
Condo,
You know,
yeah.
and then eventually you make the upsize from there.
Yeah. Some of the biggest property owners that I know today, they could only stomach a $300,000 condo in the crappiest area in Toronto, across from a pig slaughterhouse, and that's all they could stomach. And that's the house that they got married in. They had their first baby in that house.
Yeah.
The crib was beside their 1-bedroom little condo, and now some of these people have the biggest investment portfolios, and they're living in their detached homes. But the equity that they were able to build from that $250,000 condo when they
You
bought
gotta
it,
start somewhere.
they were able to take that out. They were able to buy their second property, and then their third. Now they're up to their fifth and sixth.
Yeah.
So
You gotta start somewhere.
what can you stomach? And sometimes I know we all want that detached, beautiful home with the grass in the fire pit. But start somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
And get an agent that's punctual.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
There's also get an agent that has good relationships with other agents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
Jigs,
you're-
you owe me a pop. I don't know. Don't
Yeah, I
even
mean,
drink
if
pop.
you're looking in a certain area and like, let's say you're the listing agent on the home across the street and I have the buyer and we don't like each other.
I love you.
No, I'm just saying
Alex.
that's
Yeah, I know.
an example.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes agents won't come to you, right? It's best to build relationships with your local agents. Like I was just talking with an agent and he was telling me a story that an agent was going to preview another home
Yeah.
because they were listing a property on the street and then they just canceled. Like they didn't show up.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one in Oakville.
No, I think it was Mississauga. Or was it Oakville?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, I
Oakville,
don't know.
yeah.
Like it was
Wow.
just, it's rude.
Just canceled it straight up.
No, just didn't. I don't think they just showed up.
Yeah. So the agent that wanted to preview the other agent's house
Yeah.
was up front. He called the agent and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, like I have a
Yes.
listing.
Okay.
I just want to see this listing. I want to compare it to ours, and I
Yeah,
might
sure.
have some buyers,
Yeah.
residual buyers from this property." And then she just like the agent just canceled his showing and was like, "No, I don't want you coming."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's rude. Because if I'm an agent and I'm hosting an open house, and yes, of course, I want my home to sell for my seller client.
Sure.
If there's buyers that came to my open house and this house doesn't fit, why not introduce them to the house down the street?
Exactly. That agent that denied the showing is essentially doing a disservice for her
Yeah.
client.
For her
Absolutely.
client.
The clients will probably never find out about it.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, if this guy has buyers now and she's not going to allow them to come into the property, he's
Yeah.
going to go show them something else.
Yeah.
And you want as many other agents to come through your listing. Because at the end of the
1000%.
day, let's say you have a seller. You would go to your seller and say, listen, I have these 3 agents that are going to be coming into your home
Yeah.
to view it because they have a listing down the street and they actually might know people that come through their listing that actually this house would be a better fit for.
Mhm.
And if you have a good relationship with that agent, you know how many times, so I had a listing, that one that I always talk about over on Southdown?
Yeah.
There was a few of us agents that had a few listings there and we collaborated. We became friends. My house was a detached, another house was a townhouse, and we started sending clients back and forth to each other to see if the house was a right fit. And everybody in that area eventually ended up selling their listing, but it was mutually beneficial for the sellers and the buyers and the
it's
agents.
collaboration.
Yeah.
It's how you get things done quicker. It's how you can get off-market listings and
Yeah.
off-market deals done for your buyers. Like, what buyer wouldn't love to go and see a property that's not listed yet?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you have connections and they send out agent preview on Thursday evening before it goes live Friday, like, wouldn't you want to get in there and get that in so that you can say, hey, Mr. Buyer, I've got something off-market for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's agents doing their jobs properly, right?
Yeah.
Makes me happy.
And I mean, there's some pretty nasty agents out there
Oh,
There
yeah.
are, yeah.
that, I mean, they're doing a complete disservice to their clients when I call them and say, hey, listen, I have able buyers that are pre-qualified, buyers that they're out there, we're looking for homes, and little responses like this, did you show the home yet? It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we actually have a showing booked for, well, let's talk when you show the home. And well, it's just like angry,
Yeah.
very, very just rude. And I'm like, you're trying to sell your client's home like this? Nobody's going to want to come through this house with that type of attitude. It makes me think, what have they gone through in their life that made them this angry and miserable? Did they?
That's digging on a personal level.
Yeah, and usually I'll go to that level after the house sells. Like, what's wrong
There's
with you?
sometimes I want to kind of like, I want to say like fight back.
Yeah.
Other times I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
you know what? You're having a bad day.
Yeah.
That's your life.
Yeah.
You're miserable, and I don't want your miserableness to cling on to me.
Yeah,
Then I'm gonna bring it with me where I go.
Yeah.
Like just leave me alone.
that's a really good way to
Yeah.
think about it.
Like I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like door knocking. You get one miserable person, just move on to the next. That's their problem.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day, you're having a bad life.
I
whatever's
like
happening
that.
with you, I'm sorry that that's happening to you.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna continue my life and have a nice day.
Yeah. Just move right on to the next
How
one.
do you deal with things like that? How do you deal with those
Sometimes it
negative
really pisses me
people
off,
in life? You do? It does get to
Sometimes
you?
it does. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm like, oh, and then it takes me a minute. I'm like, okay, you know what, Alex? relax. Like if I'm driving and I
Yeah.
see and I'm like, get the green light, and I get the green light, I'm like, thank you, universe. You know, like.
Yeah. I feel like it has. At the end of the day, you just have to acknowledge that it has nothing to do with you as a person,
Yeah.
and it's something that they're dealing with internally. It could have been something like that they've been dealing with for a while, or they've just been having a really shitty
The
day.
dog just died. Like,
And
you don't know.
Yeah.
you never know what someone else is going through. At the end of the day, you can be kind to everyone else in your life, and you just kind of have to go about your day.
Yeah. It's like what Natasha Bedingfield said in her song. Everybody's got a story that could break your heart. Ding, 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 ding. You just don't know. And usually we're the ones that have those stories operating on our day-to-day basis. Like, I'm sure you guys don't wake up every single day happy and excited to jump out of bed, but, I mean, there's probably things that you do. Well, the thing is, a lot of people, okay, the more people get to know me, they're like, oh wow, you are truly happy and joyful and whatever.
You are.
But I have my days where I have to wake up and I have to speak life into my soul.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I am the voice. Today is not going to be the voice of fear. I'm going to be the voice, meaning, you know that space where we know innately who we are before the world tells you that you're not beautiful, that you don't have enough. That space, you got to sometimes command that in. And then you say, I will lead my life. I won't follow.
That's deep, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not lead like other people,
Yeah.
but lead your life the way
Your own
you
life.
want to lead it.
Yeah.
And in that sentence, you're feeling sometimes, you're like, how am I going to lead my life
Yeah.
when I feel like this? And that's where you go inward and you start saying,
Yeah,
I
but
will
most-
believe.
Yeah, but not most, but like again, flipping it back to when you're dealing with agents, like,
Yeah.
they don't think that way,
No.
right? They
No.
sell a house to make a commission. Like that's
Yeah.
what it is.
A lot of
So
them have big egos too.
Yeah.
So, for all of you listeners out there, do your due diligence and interview agents. We've said it multiple times on the podcast, but interview agents,
Yeah.
whether you're buying or selling, because it's
When I
a huge deal.
got into this business, I think that it matters where you are and the people that you surround yourself with.
Mhm.
I actually knew Jeff and Christy for quite a while before I got into the business.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things was, where do I want to live my life? Who are the people that I want to be around, regardless of what industry I'm in? What is that space going to look like? And I found Keller Williams after I interviewed 11 brokerages. Love Gary Keller, love the culture. Then it came down to the same thing with Jeff and Christy.
Mhm.
But I got around you guys and I was like, these are the people
Yeah.
I want to be doing life with. And then everything else we're going to go crush at the same time. So,
Try to surround yourself with positive people.
Yeah, what's the saying? It's like you're
You're
a
this.
byproduct or something of the five
Yeah.
people you
Yeah.
spend the most time with.
yeah.
I think that's super true.
Yeah.
If you surround yourself with around like 5 negative people, you'll definitely be the 6th. But if you surround yourself
Yeah.
with like 5 super positive,
Yep.
supportive, goal-oriented
Yeah.
people, you'll be the 6th.
So what would you do? Let's say you're listening right now and you're in a situation where you're not fortunate, like us. We get to spend time with each other. We get to go to these boot camps. Let's say the people in your home are the most miserable, life-sucking people, but they're the people that you have to be around right now. What would you do to shift your life? Would you read any? Would you
Yeah,
listen
if
to
you're reading
something?
books, I would
Yeah.
be getting out of the house. I
Yeah.
wouldn't don't stay in the house every day.
Love
Get
that.
out.
Yeah.
Even if you work from home, maybe go find there's like one spaces and stuff like that where you can rent an office, a communal space for $100 a month or $150 a month. Go work there instead
Yeah.
of working from home.
Yeah.
Get away from the negativity
Yeah.
and go in. Make your own positive area.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
What about
Yeah,
yourself?
I would just try and create a plan of what I'm going to do to
I
get
love
out of that
Yeah.
situation. Because, everyone, you've been dealt a
Yeah.
certain cards in your life. Not everyone's
Yeah.
had it perfect, but it's about what you're doing to improve from that situation, right?
Yeah, and there's something powerful about gratitude. When we'll wrap it up really soon here, but there's something really powerful about gratitude. When you have something to be grateful for, you're automatically telling the universe that you have. And let's say you're not in a state right now of joy, of peace. If you're able to go give joy to somebody and create peace in somebody's life, what are you now doing in your own life?
Yeah.
Creating that. So I always say to people, if there's something that you want in your life that you don't have, go and give it away. Like on an emotional level. Go make somebody laugh. Go make somebody like hysterically laugh or inspire somebody, and it will in turn just spill all over your life too. And I feel like you guys do that to me all the time.
Love it.
So I really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I love seeing you in the office. You're just like this motivational bunny that hops around.
Oh my gosh. Motivational bunny.
Like the Energizer bunny.
Aw.
Keeps on going and going and going.
Yeah, you're always positive. Like ever
Yeah.
since you joined the team,
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
think
think I've
there's been
ever
one
seen him
instance
negative,
that
no.
you've been negative.
No.
Even in the shitty situations, I remember the one that condo that was a nightmare for you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Let's wrap it up, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, those have been fun.
Topics, yeah, good topics, good education for
Yep.
our viewers. And again, like, comment, subscribe, and ask us
Spotify.
questions. Yeah, Spotify and Apple Music. And
Yeah.
we'll see you on
next one.
episode 7.
Of keeping.
It.
Fresh.
It's gonna be huge that episode.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have a guest on that one.
Make or break.
It's gonna be huge.
Okay, see you then.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.